I remember as principals, we would always complain that our powers, have been withdrawn from us. We can't cane, we can't reprimand these people. So they were given space and they started expressing themselves. I remember when schools would go on strike, the first person to be blamed would be the principal. That you did not listen, you don't know how to handle these young people, So they grew in the space of being able to express themselves, being able to pinpoint to the teachers, to the principal, where they felt the principal was not doing right, the teachers were not doing right. So with that confidence, they moved, and now, having been well educated, they were able to see where things are not going right in the country.
So they can question anyone.
So they can question.
Hello viewers and welcome to Lucy Moria Network. Again, I apologize, you have not been seeing me around for some time the last 6 months, but I've been busy on other projects, and I've been busy on other media like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We've been around and also on ground collecting information concerning our retired and older people in our country. So there's nothing has changed, only that we have not been, now we are back full swing, and today we came up with the next Vihiga governor, Mr. Indimuli.
Thank you.
He's our guest today. And Indimuli is a retired chief principal and former national Kenya Secondary Schools Association and the president of the African Confederation of Teachers, Africa Mzima.
Thank you.
Mr. Indimuli,
yeah.
Welcome to the show, and we are happy to have you here today. The incoming governor, what a show, is gonna be great today. So maybe we'll ask you to introduce yourself to the viewers, tell them who you are before we go to the next, to tell us your career journey and how you retired, because we usually focus on people who are retired. We follow them, we want to know what they are doing, because they are the people contributing to this country. And congratulations, and you are our hero. Thank you. The first hero, second to Raila, it's you now in our show today.
It's a great honor. Thank you very much, Lucy. I want to appreciate this opportunity to come to your show and just share with the people of Kenya, share with the people of Vihiga, and tell them that it's an honor. And I join every Kenyan to pay tribute to our greatest hero, Honorable Right Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and say pole to the family for having lost this great man, and to the Kenyan people. Because we all looked at Raila to point to us what we needed to do. To many people, he was actually their true north. And there are so many gains we have gotten in this country, courtesy to his championing, looking at the new constitution and many others. So it was painful to lose. But at times you say it's inevitable, and we thank God for the time the country had him and for the work he did for this country. It is painful to the family, but sometimes it's inevitable. Time comes when one has to depart.
Thank you so much for those sentiments of our hero of all times, my hero, my mentor, and the person you brought to me to this space of politics. Yes. Baba, continue resting in peace, and we still love you even wherever you are. Indimuli, who is Indimuli?
Indimuli Kahi is a Kenyan, born in Vihiga. And I would say I was born in Vihiga in a place called Kivagala. in a village called Makomo village, around 63 years ago. And I started my early schooling in Nairobi at St. John's Primary School. This is because my father was working in Nairobi with Kenya Post and Telecommunications, and we started our education there. From St. John's Primary School, I did move to Nairobi South Primary School when I was in class 4, when my father also relocated to Nairobi South Estate, flats owned by the employer then. Then I went to Nairobi South Primary School, where I did my CPE then in 1975. Then went and joined Chavakali High School from 1976. I was in Chavakali High School for 6 years.
That's in Vihiga?
In Vihiga.
Okay.
I did my Form 4 there in 1979, then went back for my A-levels and finished in 1981. We were poised to join university in 1982, but because of the coup, it was pushed, and we joined in 1983, where I joined Kenyatta University, did a Bachelor of Education Science, majoring in chemistry and physics. So my 2 teaching subjects were chemistry and physics. I got employed in 1986 and got posted to Tomboya Secondary School on Rusinga Island. Yeah, where I started off as a young teacher, worked for quite a long time, but I was lucky that within 3 years of my employment, I was made a deputy of the school. Served as a deputy up to 1994, when I became the head teacher then of Tomboya Secondary School. I served as a head teacher of that school up to 2002, when I was now transferred to Vihiga Boys High School in Vihiga. That gave me a total of 16 years on Rusinga Island. So I served Vihiga High for a period of 7 years, and I was transferred to Chavakali High School from around 2010, 2011 to 2018. Served there also for a period of about 8 years. Throughout that time, I got my promotions from deputy, became head teacher, became senior principal at Vihiga, became chief principal while at Chavakali High School. And in 2018, I was again transferred in the famous delocalization to Machakos High School, where I served up to December 31st of 2023, but handed over the school January 4th, 2024 to a new principal, having attained the requirement, the age of retirement. I would say over the period I served the heads in various positions, beginning from a secretary of our district, that is Suba district then, while on Rusinga Island, grew into the chair there. When I came to Vihiga, I was made the chairman of the academic committee, served, and eventually when there was an opportunity for my then chairman of heads of the Vihiga district, Mr. Benjamin Anyira, was to become the vice chairman of Western Province Heads Association. He decided not to take up the seat, but proposed my name because he was just on the verge of retirement, and he felt the position would be taken up by somebody else so that they have enough time. So I owe, I would say, my growth in Kesha to him, because if he didn't give me that opportunity, maybe it would have taken me longer. So I served as a vice chair while at Vihiga, now for the province, and eventually got elected as the vice chairman. And as fate had it, when the new government took over then after the elections of President Uhuru, my chairman then, Mr. Nabukwesi, was appointed Kenya's High Commissioner to Canada. And by virtue of him moving and by virtue of the Constitution, I had to come in now as the chairman. So I served as a chairman of Kenya Secondary School Heads Association, Western Province. And by that position, I also was serving on the national executive. So that's how I grew.
That is still when you were in the teaching profession?
Yes, I was still in the teaching profession. Then after that, I was elected chairman now, properly, where I served. And my chairman national then also became a commissioner with the Teachers Service Commission. That is Mr. Tirop Cleopas. So the vice chairman, Mr. Awiti, was elevated to be the national chair. Now, the executive, as per constitution, would sit and decide who amongst them can become the vice chair. So by virtue of being a member of the executive, my colleagues then felt I was good enough to be their national vice chairman in an acting capacity. So we went to the elections later, and I was elected the national vice chair. So I served in that position, and later, when Mr. Awiti retired, I took over as the national chairman for a period of 2 years after his retirement, then went into elections, and I was elected again the national chairman. So I served as the national chairman for a period of 8 years, from part of it acting and part of it substantively elected. And it gave me a lot of experience in issues of leadership, issues of policy formulations, issues of collaboration with other people, things like advocacy, because as a chair, you had to do a lot of advocacy for your people. And by virtue of that position, I sat on so many education committees. I was a member of the Odhiambo Task Force on Education Review. Then later, I also served on the Education Committee Response Committee, COVID-19 Response Committee. I also served as a member of the task force on education reform, which is popularly known as Professor Fatuma Chege's commission. This was an advisory committee to the then Minister of Education on how 844, how we were going to transit from 844 to the new competency-based curriculum, which later became the competency-based education. So I've served on those. I particularly remember working so much in looking at how do we get our children back to school after COVID-19. Because the longer we were going to put them out there, the more difficult it would be to get them back to school. Because others would have gotten into business, the young girls would have gotten into a family way, and therefore getting them back would be difficult. So we were crippled with that. How do we get these children back to school? Secondly, an election was coming. How do we ensure continuity before we get into the rigors of the elections? So we had to do that calendar. And I'm happy that I was among the people who worked on the calendar that got our children back to school.
Wow.
It was a tough calendar. People were complaining but we are happy that we were able to transit 2 cohorts of students with that calendar to continue with their learning and go to the next level of learning. That was a big experience.
Then eventually you retired in 2024?
Yes, I eventually retired in 2024.
Wow.
Having also served as the president of the African Confederation of Principals, and also served as an executive member of the International Confederation of Principals, representing Africa, where I acted as the vice president.
You're so much versed with leadership, leading school children, making them go back to school, and all that, running big schools like Machakos and Chabakali, with students of more than 2,000 of them. How did you manage that?
I would say for you to succeed with such a large number of students and teachers is just being able to delegate a lot to other people, and you supervise the people you've delegated to, because you cannot do it alone. You must have dedicated team of teachers to ensure that programs are running, to ensure that the children are disciplined, and of course you being available for consultation and for guidance, and also participating, having hands-on. I was teaching up to the time I was retiring. From the time I was employed up to the time I left, there is no year I never presented candidates. I always had a Form 4 class, either in chemistry or in physics.
Being the principal and the teacher.
Yes.
So, Mr. Indimuli Kahi,
yes.
Recently or currently we're having like a serious conflict between the young people and the older generation. And some people somewhere feel that these children, these young people, men and women, they did not have enough discipline in school, or they need to be, their parents need to do much more than what they are doing. What do you think would be the problem that we are facing today with the Gen Zs especially? It's not a problem, but
it's not. It's not a problem,
but,
really.
But some people think,
it is a phase which we are in, that young people are going to talk, and I would like us to just reflect back and look at this generation of children or of young men and women now. They are people who have benefited from a lot of government programs. One, they have benefited from the introduction of free secondary and free primary education initiated by President Kibaki. They have benefited from, when they were very young, the big, how do we call it? The campaign on vaccination. So we didn't lose many of them. So they grew and they were healthy. They came to schooling, they found free schooling. As they proceeded, policies were changing. How do you handle children in school? The Children's Act came in. So they were protected. They were given space to talk. I remember as principals, we would always complain that our powers, have been withdrawn from us. We can't cane, we can't reprimand these people. So they were given space and they started expressing themselves. I remember when schools would go on strike, the first person to be blamed would be the principal. That you did not listen, you don't know how to handle these young people, So they grew in the space of being able to express themselves, being able to pinpoint to the teachers, to the principal, where they felt the principal was not doing right, the teachers were not doing right. So with that confidence, they moved, and now, having been well educated, they were able to see where things are not going right in the country.
So they can question anyone.
So they can question. And we build it ourselves as a nation. We build it. The laws that we put in place gave them that opportunity. And therefore, it is incumbent upon all of us to be able to now change tact on how we deal with the young people. Number one, being available for them. And I found that very useful for me as a principal. Just being available, that they can talk to you, they can criticize you, and while you are seated there and you laugh it out in the response, that they can come to you and talk, that they can write papers and slip them under the door, or put in the suggestion box, you read them, and you actually respond to them, those that you can respond to, those that require maybe financial implications and it's not there, you respond. So communicating with them, communicating with the young, communicating even with your peers, tends to solve a lot of problems.
Thank you, viewers. We've come to the end of our show, and maybe we'll have more other Kahis. Kahi is here, Indimuli, as a demand. A lot of you have been asking me to bring him so we can hear much about the education sector. Thank you, Ms. Lindy and Somo. You're the one who insisted I should bring Kahi on the show. Here he is. And with that, God bless you.